क्या कह रहे हो? हाँ, एक मिनट आप आ जाओगे, मैं जाऊँगा तो मैं बोल सकता हूँ।
हेलो हेलो, इधर आओ तुम, इधर आओ, फोन साइड पे रख लिया। हेलो, इसका वॉल्यूम उठाओ, थोड़ा सा वॉल्यूम बढ़ाओ इसका, चेक करना है। हेलो, थोड़ा बेटर, you'll be able to hold it fine firmly. I guess. तुम इधर, you'll have to come from this side. तुम इधर आओ. You need more volunteers. एक है, एक और, एक ही और दे दो। कोई बात नहीं, ऊपर का अभी दे दो ना।
Please take your seats. A very good.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे सरस्वती ज्ञानदायिनी जय सरस्वती ज्ञानदायिनी कमल हंस विराजिनी शारदे जय हंस वाहिनी जयति वीणा वादिनी सरस्वती ज्ञानदायिनी जय सरस्वती
ज्ञानदायिनी कमल हंस विराजिनी सा मवनाद विकासिनी पूरिका विकासिनी मानस विरासिनी
Present here. The entire Luthra family is here as usual. I see my erudite faculty, all the teams which have come from international waters, awings. 4 months, just like one which was very latest, and that is the hijab judgment, where he has shown guts, gall and gumption by giving a very balanced to the alumni of CLC. There are many sitting here and one who's also speaking to you. But for us, the most dear is Siddharth Luthra. A big hand for him first. He never comes on the stage. Sir, you have to show your beautiful, handsome face to the entire audience. Please get up. And Geeta, who's sitting on the stage. These are 2 children of KK Luthra, and the third one, who has nothing to do with law, but she with her husband Dr. Khazanchi and Dr. Daksh, who is the husband of Geeta ji. They are 3 people who are scientists and who are from the medical field, but for 3 days they're always here encouraging all of us, and they've become more than lawyers, I think. Siddharth's dedication and passion for building mood culture among students and his patronage for CLC has brought us to the 19th edition competition, which started way back in 2005. It was remarkable for Siddharth that even for those 2 years when pandemic was there, he organized the competition. A very welcome to the entire Luthra family. One person who's always there, quietly smiling in one corner, is Mrs. Menaka Gandhi. Always present for the Luthra Moot Court competition. A big hand for her. You know, the personality of Siddharth is such that there are people, I see so many of you sitting here, they work in his office, they move out, and they have their own offices. He's not like that bargat ka ped jiske niche shrubs or herbs aati hain. He's one of those tiny shrubs which he's one of those standing, eucalyptus tree which allows all the other people to grow. And you will find loyalty personified in Luthra's office. All people who worked with him are still coming every year for this Luthra competition, which is a great thing. I welcome the entire present and those people who already left the Luthra office here. I welcome all the moot court conveners who have been, I think this moot started with Gitanjali Nain. He's in Northumbria, she's in Northumbria University at the moment. Then I took over as the convener. Then we had Narendra Bishnoi, Harleen, she's sitting here, Anju Sinha was there, and now Anju's in a different center. But again, as I said, loyalty, she's always present for our Luthra competition. Thank you, Anju. So from 18 teams in 2005, we have come to around more than 60 teams and around 10 teams from the international world, which is a great thing. So a big applause for all of them too. This year, it would not have been possible to do Luthra because all our students, they don't even know how physical classes are conducted. I mean, what to talk about such a big event. So they've all worked hard with the ever-smiling team of Dr. Suman Yadav, who is the moot court convener, and all her teachers who worked with her, Dr. Chola Raja, Rubina, Shikha, Vijoy, Mepara, Neetu, Apanjot, and so on and so forth. I will not name everyone. Thank you to all of you for bringing this entire up. Some people who are always left neglected and who work behind the curtains is the administrative staff whom I still see standing right there in the corridor behind the auditorium. That is our section officer, Mr. Pradeep Kundra, with his entire team. Please give them a big hand. Without them, nothing in the Campus Law Center is possible. I welcome all of you. I can see smiling faces from here. And last but not the least, this competition would not have been possible without all our dear students. Those who are a part of the Moot Court Society, those who are volunteers. They've all worked, they've listened to my dart duppert all the time, and still they've been smiling and working. Thank you, dear all. And the entire participating teams, I welcome you all to Campus Law Center. You must know that this is one of the oldest and the most prestigious. I was talking to some of the, students, the participating teams. They come from institutions where material infrastructure is in abundance. And I told them, I'm sorry, we can't give you all that here. But you'll definitely find infrastructure of people, humans, sensitivity, sensibility, intelligence, all in Campus Law Center. If there is anything which goes wrong, it's all because of me. You can come and tell me. I will tell all my students to rectify it for you. Thank you so much. Lot of blessings to all the participating teams. I hope you all do well, and it should be the judge, those people who are going to judge, they should come and say, it was so difficult to find out which is the best team. So that is what I wish for you. And I again welcome our chief guest, Justice Dhulia. Thank you. Thank you for coming here, sir.
Thank you so much for your inspiring words, ma'am. Our teacher convener, Moot Court Society, Campus Law Center, Dr. Suman Yadav, is a very well-known academician. She did her LLM and PhD from Kurukshetra University. She did her postdoctorate from Mediterranean International Center for Human Rights Research, Italy. She is associated with national and international journals in the editorial board. I request her to kindly present an annual report of the Moot.
Thank you, Apan. Warm greetings to our chief guest for the event, Honorable Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Respected Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, ma'am. Respected Dr. Meera, respected Geeta Luthra, Senior Advocate, Professor Rajiv, Sir, Professor Sethi, Sir, respected Mr. Siddharth Luthra, former ASG and Senior Advocate, distinguished guests, respected delegates, faculty members, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce this august audience to the 19th KK Luthra Moot Court Competition, the flagship event of Campus Law Center. Since its inception in the year 2005, this competition has been organized every year in the memory of Shri KK Luthra, Senior Advocate, a renowned lawyer and an advocate for justice. This exalted event is organized with an endeavor to provide a platform to budding law graduates to hone art of advocacy based on facts and calibrated arguments in the presence of honorable sitting High Court judges and the other leading legal luminaries of the country. It has become a benchmark for the moot court competitions in India. I am honored to proclaim that in the middle of a global crisis, which we witnessed in the past 3 years, we held firm and underwent a virtual transformation in furtherance of our commitment towards the prestige of this competition. At 18th KK Luthra Moot Court Competition 2022, we hosted 66 teams from 9 countries. The entire event spanned for 7 days and 5 layers of rigorous adjudication, including the prelims, the octafinals, the quarters, the semi-finals, and the finals. The final round was judged by Honorable Mr. Justice Nazmi Waziri, Judge, High Court of Delhi, Honorable Mr. Justice Yashwant Verma, Judge, High Court of Delhi, and Honorable Mr. Justice Subramaniam Prasad, Judge, High Court of Delhi. The team from Symbiosis Law School, Pune, was adjudged the winners of competition, while the team from Jamia Millia Islamia was adjudged the runner-up. The best speaker was awarded to Siddharth Shrikant, representing the School of Law, Christ Deemed University, Mangalore. The best memorial was awarded to Jindal Global School, OP Jindal Global University, Sonipat, Haryana. It brings me joy to affirm that this year we are back to physical mode of competition, which will provide a unique opportunity to the students to interact with legal experts, gain exposure, and polish their advocacy skills. I also take privilege and pride in enlisting the achievements of the students of Campus Law Center who have won various laurels through their association with Moot Court Society. As we all know, that the art of articulation, fluency, depth research are certain traits which are very important for any lawyer. And I am very glad to share that our Moot Court Society has not only given our students the required confidence, but it has also given them experience in art of persuasion and putting their case intelligently. I would be failing if I do not acknowledge the unending support of my professor in charge, Professor Dr. Alka Chawla, who herself is a source of great inspiration to the entire Campus Law Center. Ma'am, from being recognized, though this is already mentioned by Apanjot, but still I take pride to mention that, ma'am, from being recognized in top 100 powerful women in law, in the list released by the World IP Forum in 2017 and again in 2021. She has been awarded with Woman of the Decade award by Women Economic Forum in 2022. She has also been the recipient of various awards, author of books on copyright law, and has been a resource person to many national and international universities of the eminent prestige. Madam has been so generous in extending her support, not only in organizing the day-to-day activities of Moot Court Society, but also in organizing this mega event, which every student of Campus Law Center look forward to. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Moreover, I'm delighted to congratulate all the participants. I hope that the exposure they would be gaining through this competition would make them scale great heights of success. With this, I would like to conclude by saying happy mooting and wishing all the participants the very best, and I really hope this competition will provide you an enriching and fulfilling experience. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Our chief guest, Honorable Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, Judge, Supreme Court of India, started his practice before Allahabad High Court in 1986. He became the first Chief Standing Counsel for Uttarakhand State and later was appointed as State Additional Advocate General. He was designated as a senior advocate by the Uttarakhand High Court in 2004. He was also an honorary professor in Uttarakhand Academy of Administration, Nainital. In 2008, he was appointed as judge of Uttarakhand High Court. In 2021, he was elevated as Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court. And in 2022, he was elevated as judge of the Supreme Court of India. I request sir to kindly deliver his address.
Professor Chawla, Dr. Suman Yadav, Mrs. Geeta Luthra, Dr. Meera Luthra, Dr. Daksh Lohia, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, Mrs. Ketki Luthra, and all the young generation of Luthras who are budding lawyers, I'm told. I can see Madam Menaka Gandhi here. Welcome. Members of the teaching faculty, law faculty as well as other faculties, members of the press, and most of all, my dear fellow students. This event is in the memory of Mr. K.K. Luthra, and it gives me a very special pleasure, and I'm really honored to be invited here as a chief guest for this opening ceremony for one main reason, because Mr. Luthra belongs to a generation of those Indians who had seen the kind of crisis, the kind of difficulties which is very difficult for me as well as for you to even imagine, those of you who are students here. That was the time when partition took place and Mr. Luthra, like many of his other fellows of that particular period, were uprooted from the village, from the city. I am told he was at that time studying in a college in Lahore. So he had to come to India and he started his law studies in Shimla. And thereafter he built a career for himself in law. And thereafter he became one of the frontline lawyers in the country. I was practicing in Allahabad High Court in the 80s and 90s. And I was aware of Mr. Luthra's name, that he is one of the top criminal lawyers in Delhi. So I am particularly honored here today to participate in an event which is in the memory of a great lawyer who made a name from himself by his determination, by hard work, and above all, by a lot of courage. Now, I'm also very happy to be amongst all of you students, because I also consider myself a student. And I wish that I will keep on considering myself a student all my life. Now, there are a few things which I wanted to tell you, because I was told that you don't have to give a lecture, you just have to do some interaction. So I was just... see, from today onwards, this event starts, I'm told, and you'll be competing with one another. That's each one of you will try to be better than the other, speak better than the other, so on and so forth. And this is okay, this is good. But let me tell you one thing. And as I'll quote Ernest Hemingway here, he had said somewhere, and he didn't say it in any of his books, probably he said it while writing a foreword to a book or while writing a letter to a friend. He said that there is no greatness in being better than your fellow human being. True greatness lies in being better than your former self. So if at the end of the competition, when you finish this competition, I think day after tomorrow, whenever, and you go out of Delhi and you feel this sense of fulfillment that I am a better person, even slightly, you are better than when you came here, I think the organizers, the teachers here, and you would have solved the purpose for which you have come here. Now, since all of you are students here, and it is regarding education, I want to say something that and those foreign students, you can tell them, you can translate in their language if they are not able to understand it, that in Urdu there are two beautiful words. One is called talim and the other is called tarbiyat. They are also spoken together, talim or tarbiyat. Now, talim is, we know what talim is. Suppose if you want to become a lawyer, then the talim which you must have is the talim of LLB. LLB is your talim. Similarly, if you want to become a doctor in medicine, then the talim which you must have is MBBS. That's your talim. But what is tarbiyat? Now, tarbiyat is something greater than talim, higher than talim. The definition itself is very nebulous, but if I can define it, it is the ethics in education. And as one scholar has defined it, and I'm forgetting her name, she says if talim is the path you take in education, then talim is what enlightens that path, so that you don't fall down, so that your path is well lit. That is tarbiyat. And every great institution is not just known for the talim it gives. It is known primarily for the tarbiyat it gives you. Name any great institution and how do you get the tarbiyat? Tarbiyat you'll get by being in conversation with your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, by reading good books. Books should be a good friends, you know. If you want to become a good lawyer, you must inculcate this habit of reading. As Brecht had said somewhere, he says, and whichever way you translate it, it says hungry man or starving man. He says, starving man, go for the book. It is going to be a weapon. He doesn't say, starving man, go for the bread and quench your thirst or hunger. He says, starving man, go for the book, because it is going to be a weapon. So good books, good company. I was recently reading a book which has recently come out by Rajiv Bhargava, Professor Bhargava, who is one of our eminent scholars. It's called Between Hope and Despair. And he defines a nation beautifully. He says, what is a nation? He says, a nation is a people in conversation. And where does this conversation happens most? This conversation happens mostly in universities, in law colleges where all of you are studying. Keep this conversation on, because see, you are very intelligent people. You are very intelligent students, much more intelligent than students who are there in my generation. You are tech savvy, you have so much of information at your fingertips. But you should also not be lacking in having this kind of a conversation, in having a concern about others. And I can only give an example of my generation. I can tell you that when we were students, we were also concerned in what was happening in Nicaragua or El Salvador or Afghanistan or Vietnam, of course, for that matter. I'm sure you should also be concerned about all these aspects. You should always be in conversation. Now, finally, I believe that most of you, if not all, after your graduation will become lawyers, or at least you'll aspire to be lawyers. And regarding that, I just want to say something to you, that see, in your chamber will come all kinds of people. You'll get saints, and you'll get sinners, and you'll get teachers, and you'll get students, and you'll get corporate giants, and you'll get workers. You must know how to treat them, how to handle them, how to treat and talk to them equally. Try to understand them. You don't have to give a verdict on them. You don't have to judge them. That's the job of the judge. The moment you start judging them, you have become a trespasser actually. You're trespassing in somebody else's area. So, and you must have that feeling, the quality to listen to them and try to give them the best possible legal assistance, the best kind of a defense which you can. In the end, I'll just end with a small story. And why I want to tell you this story is because this story gives you various perspectives. And this was told to me by one of my colleagues here in the Supreme Court, my brother judge, Justice Ramasubramaniam. But I'm sure this is a story which belongs to, this is a fable, it's a very ancient fable. What happened was that there were two friends, right? So one day they started a journey together to somewhere for some work. And one person picked up 5 loaves of bread and the other 3 of equal size. And they started their journey. When it was dusk, they thought that they will rest at a place and they will have their meals. So they sat down and then they opened their basket and they wanted to eat. At that point, another person comes and says, I am also a traveler like you and can I join you? They say, yes, please join us for dinner. And all 3 of them have their dinner together. So what is this person does, the one who has 5 pieces of bread, he divides each piece into 3. So 5 plus 3, 8 becomes 24. Now, when it becomes 24, he divides 8 to each one of them, 8, 8, 8, and they have their dinner. And they sleep. The next morning, this third stranger thanks them and he says, "Thank you very much for accommodating me, for giving me meal." And then he takes out 8 silver coins from his pocket and he gives to those two persons. And he goes away. Now, silver coins. Immediately, they had not thought that he'll give us money. Now, when he gives them those 8 silver coins, the one who had the 5 loaves of bread, he said, "Okay, I had 5, you had 3. I take 5 coins, you take 3, and that's fair enough." So the other person who had 3 loaves of bread, he said, "No, once we had mixed it, we were all equal. And you have to split it, 4 and 4. 4 to you, 4 to me." Probably he was a lawyer. So there is a dispute now. So how to resolve it? They go to Qazi, the judge. The judge hears the dispute and tells this person who's actually making this a dispute, he says, "Go home. You had a fair share, go home." He says, "No, I want a decision. I want justice," he said. So he thinks over it and he finally decides that the person who had 5 pieces of bread, he will get 7 silver coins, and the one who had 3 will get only 1. That is his decision. Now we just think about it. Each 3 perspective is a valid perspective. Each has a logic behind it. Whether you split 8 into 5 into 3, there is a logic behind it. If you split it equally, again there is a logic behind it. But the final verdict, which is given by a judge, is actually the true judgment, because he had ultimately only 9 pieces with him. He parted with only 1. So he gets only 1. Now, why I have told you this story is that in life very soon you will realize that what ultimately matters is your perspective. So good luck for all of you for this event, moot court competition. In my time, there were no moot court competitions. I'm very happy that you have them here. So best of luck to all of you. Let the best person win. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for such a motivational address, sir. Mr. Siddharth Luthra is a senior advocate at the Supreme Court of India. He was appointed as the Additional Solicitor General of India in 2012. He is an alumnus of Campus Law Centre. He did an MPhil in Criminology from the University of Cambridge in 1991 and was conferred with an honorary doctorate of law by Amity University. Apart from litigation, Sir also teaches law as a visiting professor at Northumbria University, Newcastle, UK, Amity University, Noida, and OP Jindal Global Law School, Sonipat. I request Sir to kindly propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. After a gap of 2 physical years, we are back. And thank you, Alka, we are back with a bang. It gives me great pleasure this year to deliver the vote of thanks after 2 long years. 2020 was the last time we had this event in a physical form. It's been virtual since then. And it was 2020. My mother had just passed away, but we decided to go on with the event as we would have in her memory. And then COVID struck and we went virtual. Thank you all, therefore, for being here. And I must first begin to thank Justice Dhulia for his very scintillating address. You've seen Justice Dhulia, young, dynamic. You have all seen him speak today. He's a man who speaks from his heart. And I'd requested him to speak about his experiences and to talk to you, not talk at you, but talk to you. And he has done so. Thank you so much, sir. Justice Dhulia spoke today, but not only his speech, but his written word is as clear. It is forthright. It displays a sensitivity, which is the need of the hour as a judge. At every moment, one of the most important hallmarks, I would believe, is sensitivity. And in his judgments, you will see a reflection of the ethos of the Constitution. Not just the written word of statutes, but the ethos of the Constitution. And I speak, and I'm not limiting it to only hijab. Alka spoke about hijab. There's a lot more he has to offer. We all need to just pick up the books and read it, not just online. So thank you very much, Justice Dhulia, for being here with us today. It's been a great honor to have you, sir. I must also thank Alka, Apanjot, and the rest of the teaching staff and the students who have made this wonderful event. We had a few trials to begin with, but we've been able to carry it off and it's come out rather well. Perhaps next year onwards we'll shift from the auditorium to the garden permanently. And why not? It is also my privilege again to have the company of, and I can't say I can welcome them, the company of my professors, Professor Khanna, Professor T.D. Sethi. They are always here for us as a family, and so very kind of you, sir. There is always support. Professor Khanna keeps calling me even before the event, asking me if there's something to be done. Professor Sethi is always in touch throughout the year. Thank you so very much, and thank you for all my teachers, past and present. We have friends of our family, Mrs. Menaka Gandhi, Mr. Nanda, Kumar Saab, Munjal Saab, Manish, Atul, Sandeep, Salim, so very many people, Mr. Bose, so very many people. My uncles, Mr. Preetham Singh Sethi and Mr. Avtar Singh Sethi, my chachas, I would say not my tayas, but my chachas who are here always every year. Satyanarayan, Dinesh Ji from Ekta Book Company, Swamiji who's here. So very many names. Thank you so much for being here. You make this a special event. Thank you. My thanks go out lastly to the participants. It's a tough job for us to shortlist. From 90 odd teams to bring them down to 60, you create a lot of headache for the people who judge the mood and also for all of us, for those of us who have to judge the memorials. It's a tough job, but thank you so very much for being here. All the best. And as Justice Dhulia said, you're here for the experience. Enjoy it. You'll go back with memories, with friendships, with relationships you will build. That is the earning from this moot court. All the best for the event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I request all the dignitaries, guests, and faculty members to proceed for the high tea. And all the students and participants must remain seated till then.
सर आइए ऊपर आइए हेलो सर सेठी सर बनाओ इधर आइए सर यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं सर
वो बच्चे भी ना आके थोड़ा पानी वानी
सॉरी प्लीज
आप उधर चले जाओ उधर से चले
Very good.
चलो मैं आती हूँ.